On this chart, you see a conventional architecture with a top-down approach. The electricity comes from power plants and is then transmitted and distributed to consumer in a unidirectional power flow. Today, decentralized sources are developing, photovoltaics, wind energy. Maybe we will have sooner or later some solution for energy storage. And we have these electric old vehicles, and we don't know whether they should be considered as consumers as a way for storing energy. And this implies that we have to manage a system with bidirectional flows. The problem, the big issue, is that we cannot only rely your network, your grid, sorry, on decentralized and local solution. Why? Because if you consider things locally, the demand never corresponds exactly to the power which is available. I take, on this graph you see three actual examples, which are dating from last year. In France, in the country, in Champagne, a high voltage station windmill is connected to a high voltage station. And in January, you see that, in January you see that the production of windmills sometimes is exceeding very much the demand. But in December, it was the opposite, almost no wind, because very often when it is very cold, there is no wind. And in July, too much wind. What to do with it? And we have exactly the same phenomenon with photovoltaics. If you consider these four graphs, with a photovoltaic station connected to a high voltage, it should be a medium voltage station. Well, photovoltaics have not yet reached the power of the wind farms, but you can see exactly the same phenomenon, a big discrepancy between the demand and the production. And what are we doing today for integrating photovoltaic farms or windmill farm? We put them onto the grid, we connect and we forget them. They are not actually managed. And the stabilization of the network is only obtained by large generators, such as power plants, which can make do with this fluctuation in the production of windmills and photovoltaics. But it generates a lot of problems. And sometimes the windmills are switched off automatically without any control. And we had in Europe, Western Europe, in 2006, a very big outage due to the fact that several thousand of megawatt of windmills switch off because of an incident of the network. Alors, the ideal solution would be to have, let's say, a central organization managing all these elements, fuel cells, if any, wind power plants, and so on, biomass installation, as if they were a virtual power plant. This is the ideal solution, which is not reached yet, as you can achieve. I would insist on the fact that the absence of storage is a very huge handicap, major drawback. Because if you consider the fluctuation of the demand like that in a day, first, you have at your disposal conventional generation, fossil fuel, power plants, or nuclear power plants, whatever. Then you have the renewable energy sources. And today, priority is given to these new sources. It's a political decision. I'm not discussing this point. I'm not sure it may last for very long, but today it's the case. Renewable have the priority. But what are the consequences? The consequences is sometimes you have too much energy, and sometimes not enough. That means that one of the key roles of the smart grid is to balance demand and production, and notably reduce the peak of demand thanks to what we are calling the demand side management. And this solution, this question of demand side management, it's really a key issue, because it can only be successful if it results from a combination of two approaches. An active energy management by the consumer himself. We assume that the consumer will accept to a certain extent to manage his consumption. But to which extent, it has to be debated. We don't know exactly how interested will the consumer be in managing their the electricity demand. And the second approach is a remote energy management. What we are doing in France for water heating, but it could be applied to other applications such as household appliances, washing machine, etc. Will it be accepted by the consumer? Because it raises a lot of questions, including question of privacy. Because you will have your home equipment in your home managed by your electricity supplier. Will you accept it? We don't know. Maybe. Anyway, this demand side management implies that we install everywhere smart meters. Smart meters are often confused with smart grids, but smart meter is only a piece of the cake. It's an element of smart grids. They are necessary. They are not the whole solution. Now, smart meters are developing almost everywhere in the world. We consider that today there are circa 8 million smart meters installed around the world. Notably in Italy, there are a lot of smart meters. In California, PGE has now around 6 million smart meters installed. And in France, we are today launching the Link project, which will be more than a meter. It will be an intelligent meter. It's a project which is launched by the grid operator, which is ERDF. It's a subsidiary of EDF, but independent from EDF. And the first step of this project is to install 300,000 meters in two regions, one close to Lyon, another one near Nantes, near Tours, in the western part of France. And then, if this experiment is successful, it will be generalized to the 31 million users we have in France. Well, the principle of this experiment is to have smart meters in each home, connected via, how do we say in English, power line carrier system to concentrator, and then the information is transmitted via GPRS system, something more derived from GSM, and then it's exploited by the information system of the grid. Where do we stand today? We are just, let's say, in the middle of the experimentation. Not all the meters are yet installed. It's more difficult than anticipated. It costs more than what we anticipated. And we have not yet feedback about the efficiency, because people have these meters, they look at them and say, what could I do with them? I mean, the system is not integrated.